So now that we talked about the velocity of money, I think the concept, we're going to talk about it often when we're looking at different opportunities. In this video, I want to show you how I run my DeFi business, and I'll just show you one example from each category. Now, please don't copy any of this because this isn't live. This isn't real time. This could be from weeks ago or months ago. I don't want you copying anything. I want you understanding it so you can do it. In a future lesson here, in one or two lessons, we're going to be covering the Crystal app. We're going to cover a lot of tools where it can help you find some awesome opportunities. But in this example, we're looking at a USD and GMX pool on Uniswap v3. We're going to talk about the 7 rules of entering a liquidity pool. So all of this will make sense to you, but it passes a lot of those rules. Minimum total value locked is over 250K. Volume is higher than total value locked. And using this tool, which again, don't worry about it right now, in 2 lessons time, we're going to be doing this together and I'll give you a rundown of this tool, but I can be adjusting my ranges and Crystal can be giving me an estimated return. In this instance, on $1,000, estimated return is $18 every 24 hours or $542 a month. Velocity of money, that theory would dictate that in less than 60 days, in less than 2 months, I have my initial back, and now I can put that initial back to work for me somewhere else. So when someone asks me, how much money do I need to get started? I'm like, well, it depends how you look at this. Because we've literally had people who started with $500. And by applying and understanding the velocity of money, and they were patient, they were able to get that initial out in a relatively short period of time and then put it back to work. And now they have $1,000 and they're still earning capital. They're still earning returns on that initial. And now in a month, they've got 1,500. And now after a month, they got 15 plus 8, which is 22 or 23. And now after a month, they've got 22 plus 11, which would be 33. You get the point. We have had people double and triple their DeFi portfolios because they understood this concept and they simply kept reusing their capital and taking their earnings and starting new positions. So for example, I'm just going to share, again, please don't get into any of this because you don't know when this is being recorded, and I've already gotten my money out of SUI and USDC. I was earning between 300 to 400%, and I've been in this for a few months. So I already got my initial back of around $8,000, and I was able to put that $8,000 to work for me in different places. But this is an example. I could be in a pool earning me 1% per day, taking my returns, taking my rewards, and either starting different positions, which I'll have 4, 5, 6, sometimes 8, sometimes 10 positions at any given time. Or I could take my returns, move them into my bull run portfolio. So I'm buying undervalued assets that today have appreciated by almost $19,000. This month, they've appreciated $121,000. And then I can take the earnings, take profit, and move it into platforms like, Polygon, just so I can earn yield. Again, velocity of money, I'm earning yield on my profits. Over here on Venus, I'm earning fees on my profits. Over on, whatever platform you want to choose for lending. We already kind of covered some of them, but I'm earning fees on my profits. And then when an opportunity opens itself back up, I can deploy capital. Over here on some of this, I'm doing 60%, 20, 30, 40%. This is almost 50%. Earning money on my money, the velocity of money. And then as new opportunities open up, I can get into them. I've been looking at this Bitcoin and potentially ETH pool. It meets all of my criteria and it's making some really awesome returns. I've been in this Render Soul pool. Again, not telling you to get into these because it's lacking context. We're going to cover the 7 rules of entering a liquidity pool, which will give it more context. But this has been earning me over 1% per day for a few weeks now. The velocity of money would dictate that in 3 months, I get my initial back again. Then I can take that initial and put it back to work for me. That's where the compound interest effect, especially playing this game, really takes place. That's what I fundamentally really want you understanding, because that changes the game for people. It's no longer a question of how little or how much do I need to start. It's start. It's start, because time in the market is your best friend, especially in this game. Especially in this game. So that's, I mean, rinse and repeat. Earn yield, take profits, start more positions, or set aside, buy underappreciating assets, ride them to $121,000 last month, take some profit, move into anything else that'll generate yield for me, and then redeploy. Rinse and repeat, velocity of money, real life example at play right before your eyes. That is the fast lane to getting rich. That is a fast lane to wealth. The slow lane is I'll just deposit it in a savings account or a 401k, and maybe in 50 years I'll be able to retire if the market doesn't crash, the decade that I'm looking to retire, and I lose half of my life savings, everything I worked for. Or I can join the fast lane and make ridiculous amount of cash on relatively low amount of capital, and even if I'm starting with a little, I can turn that into a lot and play the fast lane game. It's one or two options. If you haven't watched the Velocity of Money training or the live that I posted for you, highly recommend you do so, because I think it'll really, really open up your mind and change your perspective to how this game is played. Really hope that's helpful. I'll see you in the next.